The Sciforror Film Podcast. Right. Hello, good evening, and welcome. Unless you're watching this at some point, which isn't an evening, and then in that case, hello, whatever time of day it is, and welcome. This is the Sciforror Film Podcast. I am, and so is he. I'm Andy Walker, and this is my son Scott, who is here all the time because he's part of the furniture.
I don't know about that. I've been called quite lumpy recently, so I'm not too sure I'll be quite anything good to sit on.
No, you're an occasional table.
Ah, okay. Only an occasional table.
Yeah.
Sometimes on a bookcase.
How you doing?
Yeah, not bad. Suffering with tooth gum ache. I'm okay. It hasn't stopped me talking, which has annoyed people.
A tooth gum ache.
Tooth gum ache, yeah. It sort of hurts my tooth, but it's more infection of the gum.
Okay.
I
seem to have developed that. I don't know what it is. But anyway.
The ability to talk?
The
ability to talk?
No, I've never. Everything's fine. Right. Yes.
Yes.
Here we are again. And this week we are doing, as we have been doing, we're reviewing 2 short films and a feature film. Don't ask me. I'm completely lost with what's going on inside and outside and around my head. So we're going to start off. Let's get this road on the show. We're going to start off with a short science fiction film from 2020, and this is called Hawk.
Yes.
This is a film. This is a Perry Taylor Films and Shire Films.
Yeah.
This, in the words of the filmmaker, this was shot, chopped, and scored by Mike Booth, which I'm assuming makes him the director and the editor.
Yeah.
The cast is Cleopatra Wood, Craig Garner, Maria Forslin, and Steve Greenwood. The synopsis for this film is: a young bounty hunter finds herself trapped inside her spaceship with 3 super criminals.
Yeah.
Yes. So what did you think?
Well, there's part of the synopsis as well that says it is based on comic or a comic book character that he was writing.
This guy's writing a novel.
Yeah.
And this is based on part of the novel.
Yeah.
But I don't know if any more of the novel has been made into films or what he's doing, whether he's going to make a feature film depending on what people think of this film. I don't know.
Feature film depending on what people think of the novel.
The novel?
It was very weird.
What?
The film, sorry. The film. It's very weird. I liked it, but it was... I don't know, it was just very weird. It felt sort of... It's one of the films that it sort of feel like you sort of dropped in halfway through.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't know what part of the novel this is based on. If it's the beginning or a middle bit or what it is.
Yeah, it doesn't really help. Yeah, it's not really helpful. That sort of way, unless you've read the novel, you know what part is meant to portray.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that he had his own language in it for one of the aliens or one of the super criminals.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. I liked it, but I don't know. It was just something about it that just felt weird.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, going from the beginning, I thought the titles were really good. They were really well done.
Yeah,
I like those. The set was okay. The story was pretty good. The acting's pretty good. The effects were pretty good. The props, everything. I like the idea. I think the idea looks good as far as you can tell because of the fact, as you say, that it is part of the story. It's not the whole thing, so you don't
yeah,
quite know what else has gone on. I kind of liked it and I kind of enjoyed watching it, but yeah, I don't know. I think I need to know more about what's going on.
yeah. It's just. I think if you've been able to read the novel and understand what was going on, it might have made a bit more sense. But
Yeah,
it just, I'm saying, it feels like you were
I mean,
just dropped
it's a
into it.
pretty good. It's a pretty good sort of like snapshot of the sort of things that he can do.
Yeah,
And on the whole, I thought that they were all pretty good in it.
yeah,
And it was it was different. It wasn't the usual sort of independent sci-fi stuff.
yeah,
So I quite enjoyed it, and I would quite like to know what he's going to do with it. What more he's going to do? This is like nearly 3 years old now.
mm,
So has he done any more? Because I couldn't see any more anywhere.
no. It's
So,
just I'd love to. Wouldn't mind getting hold of the novel just to see what.
but that's the thing. Has he finished writing the novel even?
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of if he's finished that, then to get a hold of a copy just to see where that film was meant to be part of.
Yeah. I mean, as I say, the story it's a good idea and it works pretty well in as much as you can tell because of knowing what it's about.
Yeah, it's sort of you can still watch it. It's not a big problem, but it would help if there was a bit more of a, I think a bit more of a background of what was going on.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Okay, so on to this is an older film. This is we're going on to a horror film now from 2015. This is called
Yeah.
Selfie, and this is through Fault Productions. Written, produced, and directed by Jeff Harmer. I'm sure I know that name from somewhere. I'm sure I've done one of his
Mm,
films before, but I don't remember what. Um, the cast is Stacey Hart, Millie Richardson, and Poppy Richardson. And the synopsis says a woman is haunted by a strange figure in her selfie photos.
yeah.
Now, even for an 8-year-old film, even 8 years ago, this was not a completely original idea.
No.
But yeah, we've seen it done before, but it's well done. It's quite well done. I
Yeah.
liked the way it was done. I really liked the use of the kind of silence and the build up of the sounds as the film went on. That
Yeah.
was really well done. It really kind of added to the tension of the atmosphere. Um, it's an okay film. It's got quite a decent sort of jump scare thing at the end, and it works really well. But it's not really, as I say, even 8 years ago, it wasn't really that original. It wasn't something that
No.
makes you go, "Wow, that's something different."
Yeah. I just say I agree. I like the overlay of the texts when they done that, so you didn't have to do the whole looking at the screen, and you sort of knew what was going on, and the sort of that the acting was on it was really well done.
Yeah,
But yeah, I agree with you. It's not even for them, not an original idea, and it's been done so many times now, with sort of being the whole selfie or things in the background, and it's just. I do think it was a good film. It didn't wow me.
yeah. No, I know what you mean. It was an interesting version of a story that's been done a number of times. Maybe if we'd have watched it in 2015, our
That's,
attitude towards it would have been different because we wouldn't have seen so many other versions of it.
no, that's the thing is that even if you like, if you don't follow the links we put up or anything like, that, you just want to look into YouTube. I would say you have to find the channel they put it out because if you just type in selfie into YouTube or anything, there are so many
Yeah,
out there, and it's just it got to a point where like, I thought I'd have a look, and after about sort of the third or fourth page of them, I was like, this is just getting ridiculous now.
yeah.
Like
I
there
think
was
you know
so
that.
many, and the thing is that it's almost an overworked idea because there's so many things you can do with it, and
Yeah,
it's an easy thing for people to do to have that in the background and have the sort of a picture of someone in the background who's not there, and it's saying I thought it was a great film. It just didn't wow me.
yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Now we are breaking new ground with our feature film.
Oh,
Well,
well, that's a very oh,
loosely,
very loosely used.
very loosely. We are doing a horror film. Uh, well, we'll get to that at the end. This film is available on YouTube and on Netflix. So
Yeah,
Netflix have actually paid good money for this to be on it.
yeah. Well, like I said, you got like we said before, you got to have the bad with the good, ain't you?
Yeah. Now this is a film from 2017 called Werewolves of the Third Reich. Yeah. It was written and directed by Andrew Jones. Now there are other films that he's written and directed. I'm going to go through them all. I'm not going to say which he wrote and directed because some he did
Yeah.
both, some he just did one. But he was involved in the making of, either writing or directing the following films: Night of the Living Dead Resurrection in 2012, The Amityville Asylum. I noticed some of these, a lot of these films are kind of like they're almost title wise, they're like two films mashed into one.
Yeah.
So you've got Night of the Living Dead Resurrection in 2012, The Amityville Asylum in 2013, Silent Night, Bloody Night, The Homecoming in 2013, The Midnight Horror Show 2014, Valley of the Witch in 2014, Last House on Cemetery Lane 2015, A Haunting at the Rectory in 2015, Poltergeist Activity in 2015, Robert 2015, The Exorcism of Anna Eklund in 2016, The Curse of Robert the Doll 2016, Robert and the Toymaker 2017, Cabin 28 2017, where are we? Revenge of Robert the Doll 2018, The Legend of Halloween Jack 2018, Robert Reborn 2019, The Manson Family Massacre 2019, The Utah Cabin Murders 2019, The Curse of Halloween Jack 2019, The Jonestown Haunting 2020, The Haunting of Margam Castle 2020, Alien Battlefield Earth 2021, Horror Express 2022, and Ed Gein American Psycho 2022.
Now, do you know what? There are some of them that I've watched,
Oh, okay.
and like the Manson Family Massacre one I've watched, and the Robert ones I've watched.
Right.
Now, I actually think that, admittedly, the first Robert one I thought was very good, and the Family Massacre one's good. Some of them are reasonably good films.
Right. Let's get on. We'll get on to the
Yeah.
film in a little while. Okay. So the cast. We've got Annabelle Lanyon, and she did some TVs and short stuff in the 70s and 80s. She did The Quatermass Conclusion in 1979. Don't remember that at all. Dream Demon, which I do remember, 1988. Blood and Bones in 2017. Dread Rattling, Dread, which is really good. Dread Rattling 2018. Stilts in 2019 and Bite in 2022. And we've got Derek Nelson, did some TV and short stuff in 2010s and 2020s. He was in Cabin 28 in 2017, Survivors with a Z in 2017, The Revenge of Robert the Doll 2018, Cleavers, Killer Clowns 2019, The Manson Family Massacre 2019, Utah Cabin Murders 2019, Curse of Halloween Jack 2019, Solar Impact in 2019, Pandemonium 2020, The Jonestown Haunting 2020, Vampire Virus in 2020, The Haunting of Margam Castle in 2020, A Werewolf in England in 2020, The Mutation 2021, Alien Battlefield Earth in 2021, Werewolf Castle in 2021, The Haunting of the Tower of London in 2022, Midnight Peep Show 2022, Into the Black Abyss Death Stream 2022. It sounds like it should be a death metal album, doesn't it? Into the Black Abyss by Deathstream. Freeze in 2022, Straw Men in 2022, and Werewolf Cabal in 2022. Then we have Susie Francis Garton, who did some TV short things in the 2010s. Was in A Haunting at the Rectory in 2015, Robert in 2015, The Curse of Robert the Doll in 2016, and Hex in 2017. Now we have Dennis Farrin with some TV and shorts in the 2010s and 2020s. Was in Robert Reborn in 2019 and The Utah Cabin Murders in 2019. We have Lee Bain, who did some TV and shorts in the 2010s. Was in Battle Planet in 2008. Night of the Living Dead Resurrection 2012. The Amityville Asylum 2013. Silent Night, Bloody Night, The Homecoming 2013. The Midnight Horror Show 2014, Valley of the Witch 2014, Last House on Cemetery Lane 2015, Haunting at the Rectory 2015, Poltergeist Activity 2015, Robert 2015, The Exorcism of Anna Eklund in 2016, The Curse of Robert the Doll 2016, Cabin 28 2017, Robert the Time Maker 2017, The Revenge of Robert the Doll 2018, The Legend of Halloween Jack in 2018, Robert Reborn 2019, and The Manson Family Massacre 2019. Then we have Patrick O'Donnell, did some TV and shorts in the 2010s, was in Tin Can Man in 2007, and The Curse of Halloween Jack in 2019. We have Gareth Lawrence, who did some TV and short stuff in the 2010s and 2020s, was in a film called Bunny the Killer Thing in 2015. Tear Me Apart 2015, Vampire Resurrection in 2016, Cabin 28 2017, The Vampire King in 2017, Precognition in 2018, The Revenge of Robert the Doll 2018. This is a very confusing title. Landfall 1734 1987 2018, which came out in 2019. Them in 2021. We have Kwame Augustine, did some TV short stuff in the 2010s and no other films that we interested at all. The only two other people I'm going to mention is Neville Can, who did some TV and short thing in the 2010s and nothing else that we're interested in, but he plays Dr. Joseph Mingler.
Yeah. And
Oliver Fritz, who did TV and short stuff in the 2010s, nothing else that we're interested in at all. And he portrayed Adolf Hitler in this film. So the synopsis.
There was a synopsis?
The synopsis says, in Germany at the height of World War II, a ragtag group of American soldiers discovered Dr. Mengele's diabolical plan to create an unstoppable army of Nazi werewolves. Now, I want to start this off by saying I am not and have never been a fan of werewolf films.
Okay.
So it was with some trepidation that I started watching this film, because I did think werewolf films, there have only ever been two werewolf films I've ever really liked.
Yeah.
That's American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
And Dog Soldiers.
Yep.
Most of the others fall into two categories. People wrestling a carpet on the floor and strange bits of shadows that look something like an animal with wolves howling that don't really do anything.
Yeah.
Now, this doesn't fit into either of those two categories, strangely. It fits into a category all of its own.
Hmm.
Um, so, what did you think?
Well, I'd like to first off start. I chose this film, and
Now, I wasn't going to say that. I was
no,
going
I
to.
know, but I feel obligated for anyone who's gonna watch this or listens to this and goes and watches it, or even if they don't listen to this and watch it, I want to humbly apologise for the fact that this film was made. I thought to myself when I chose this, I thought, you know what, it would be a change from what we do. As we said, we don't do werewolf films yet. Like, this is our
Oh,
first one we've done. Um, we've done like vampires, we've done stuff like that, but it's our first one of this. I thought, you know, it'd make a change.
definitely.
Now, I didn't hold it in high hopes because of the fact that, well, just because of the title for a start. But yeah, I didn't hold it in high hopes, mainly because I've watched a lot of Dead Snow and stuff like that. So I didn't want hold it that high up.
Yeah,
Now, I'm ashamed to admit that I actually held it up a bit higher than I should have done because this just it's sort of an anthology film, really, or not really. It's sort of a story film because it's got chapters, which I
yes,
don't see the point why they put them in there.
no.
But
It saves on the editing, I think.
yeah, but obviously the first, all this is what, an hour and 50 minutes, hour and 40 minutes long film,
Yeah,
and for the first hour and 20, it's just basically introducing all the characters.
yep,
And then for that 5 minutes, you see the werewolves, and then afterwards, that's it.
yeah,
Well, I wouldn't say the werewolves. Sorry, they're mutated people,
yeah.
sort of.
I,
Now, don't be wrong. The makeup was okay. Not the best I've seen.
it was okay, but they weren't really wolves. But
No,
yeah,
and yeah, it wasn't the best I've seen. It wasn't the best looking werewolf either I've seen.
it,
Admittedly, not the worst, but that's for a different story. Um,
it was
it was the accents. The
remarkably
accents.
slow film though.
Yeah,
No, the
it's just
accents are yeah.
what
Well,
confused me, and I'm still trying to understand. And I know, obviously, it would have made a very good film if it was all subtitled, but it starts off with a lot of them, a lot of the Germans and Nazis talking in German, and they're
yeah,
subtitled.
yeah,
Then it goes to a bit where they're speaking English, which is fine.
yeah,
Then it goes to a bit where they're all German Nazis again, and only one of them's talking where it needed subtitles.
yeah,
And then it goes to none of them talking and needing subtitles at all, and they all speak perfect English.
yeah. Okay. Let me break this down. I've broken the film down a bit. Okay.
Wow.
Right. Now, it's not the greatest made film or made or acted film, to be honest.
Yep.
Um, Now, the opening scene, they're in a bar,
Yep.
and Second World War, and there's a Nazi guy who comes up and talks to them, and there's a shootout, and there's a big fight, and blah 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 blah. As they leave and they walk out, there's a barrel by the side of the wall near the stairs that they go up to go out of the bar.
Yep.
Above the barrel is a sign showing fire instructions and a little red box with a fire alarm thing and a wire coming up from it
Yep.
that wouldn't have been there in the Second World War.
Oh, don't be right. I've got a few things about this as well. But there's also one right at the end. Now they talk about, obviously, World War I happened in 1944.
No, 92, World War Two.
World War II, sorry, happened in
Yeah,
94. No, sorry, 44.
yeah,
And they then do a bit where it goes to 30 years later.
yeah,
Now, in my knowledge of my mathematics isn't the best in the world, but that adds out to me to be about mid 70s.
yep,
Now, the cabin that they go to at the end
yeah,
has a solar panel on the side of it. Now, I know from being quite scientific, solar panels weren't invented until the mid 80s.
yeah. Well, you know, Yeah.
Could have think they could have found a place where they didn't have one blatantly on the side of it. I've
Okay.
tried hiding it.
So I'll go to the next thing that I saw, which was Dr. Mengler
Yep.
has two brains on his desk.
Yep.
If they're supposedly human, one of them's supposedly a wolf. They look like they're ceramic. They do
Yep.
not look like real brains. They look like they're made out of pottery,
Yeah.
which is bizarre. Um, then we get to see Adolf Hitler, and the depiction of Adolf Hitler is absolutely awful.
Yep.
It's about all I could say about it, really. Um, they come to a roadblock. Now, this roadblock is incredible. It's like three bits of wood leaning
Three
against
bits of
each
wood
other.
on a yeah, three bits of wood on a path that's surrounded by empty fields.
Yeah, so they've got to stop to move out of the way.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, right? Question for me, okay? They're in a truck. They've got the American
Yep.
troops, and they've got the bad guys, who are supposedly the bad guys anyway, who turn out to be the heroes, end up being the heroes, in this truck. The guy who's driving the truck gets out, gets two of them out the back to clear the roadblock. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. There's nothing around them. It's empty fields around them, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, two Nazis appear. Where
Yeah.
did they come from?
Especially as one of them appeared from the side of the van where the guy had just walked past.
Yeah, and then they say how many are in the truck. Now, if they'd have come from behind the truck, they must have been able to see who was in the truck, and they would have been seen. And
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. Okay, so where are we? Oh, we go through lots of other strange things. Then one of the Nazi soldiers has decided he's going to desert, and he's going to do it with Dr. Mingler's wife.
Yep.
Okay, so they're worried that they're going to get discovered and they're going to end up being killed or experimented on or whatever. So what does he do? He stops to pack a suitcase. Now, really?
Yep.
Um, Now the transformation scene, what little there was of it, of the guy who turns into the werewolf,
Yeah.
werewolf. There's a little section of it, only one very, very small section of it.
Yeah.
Not that it's that big anyway. There's a very small section of it that looks like it's been completely lifted from the transformation scene of American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, there's a few scenes like that.
Um, I've got loads of this stuff. Um, he doesn't really look like a werewolf,
No.
and he's not really a werewolf as in the traditional or even the modern sense,
No.
because it's not the moon that controls his changes. He's more like a kind of mutant human wolf hybrid thing.
The thing that makes me laugh is the fact they don't even call it a werewolf when they're reporting to, and I really can't believe I was going to say this, but they're reporting to the really odd looking Adolf Hitler.
Yeah,
They call it a chimera.
yeah.
Now, for me, the problem is for me as well, chimeras in everything that they're depicted in is a three or more creatures.
Well, yeah.
But yeah,
So then, okay, the bad guys who have escaped the truck, killed the Nazis, who the Nazis have killed the two MPs that were trying to take them in to arrest them. When they escaped the truck, none of them have got cigarettes because they're complaining about the fact they haven't got cigarettes. They find three rolled up cigarettes in one guy's pocket, which they smoke as they're walking away.
yeah,
Okay. When they turn up at where the camp thing is, where the doctor is and where all the experiments going on, Mad Dog has got a tipped cigarette, which he
yeah.
puts in his mouth and lights. Where did he get it from?
But,
Okay. Apart from the Americans being complete cliches, all of the characters, American characters, are
oh,
completely
yeah,
cliches. Why are all the signs on the German camp written in English?
yeah. The one as they walk through that actually says switch room
Yeah,
on the front door. Yeah,
It's obviously the building's obviously a disused hospital or clinic or something. Because if you look at you go inside and the walls are all paint's all peeling off the walls. There's dirt and dust and crap all over the floor. It's not that. It's just like okay. Uh, the doctor, the doctor was obviously taught to fire a gun by the stormtroopers from Star Wars because it's about a foot away from this bloke, fires 3 times and misses him completely.
Yeah, even the actors seem surprised.
They after that they meet this other two of them meet this other guy who's huge, and for some reason decide to have a completely pointless fist fight.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense at all. The doctor then pulls out this bomb from somewhere, right? And the bomb is such a cliche cartoon bomb. 3 sticks of dynamite with like an alarm clock stuck on the side of it.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, but then the clock. Oh no! Then we get the werewolves. The werewolves attack, right? They attack 2 people, neither of which they really managed to do much to at all, and
No,
they both get shot.
yeah, the doctor gets bitten on the neck
Yeah,
and survives and runs away, and the soldier gets bitten on the arm and survives and shoots one of the others in the head.
yeah. So then they kill the 2 werewolves there and then, which makes the whole thing what was the point of
Pointless.
that? The clock on the bomb seems to jump 5 minutes
Yeah.
and then doesn't move.
Yeah.
And then there's a really naff explosion that looks like it's taken from sort of like stock footage.
Yeah, I wasn't saying it looked like it's taken from a very, very stock footage film.
And I couldn't work out if maybe this was supposed to be a comedy because it's just like so ridiculous. And the one thing I liked is Mad Dog. The guy who played him was playing him like a cross between Hugh Jackman as Wolverine and Clint Eastwood.
But he called everyone boy.
Yeah. And my biggest thing about this is who the hell said this was a horror film?
I think
It's a
like I
war.
said, I apologise.
It's at the best it's a badly made war film with a
Oh,
few,
just
with 2 people in it who are turned into hybrid human wolves.
yeah, it's
That's
just
it.
I sat there and like I said to you before, I sat there and Amy was watching a bit of this and she just looked at me. She went, "You could have chose any film. You could have chose any film. Like, and one of your favourite horrors, one of your favourite sci-fi. You had the choice of Netflix, YouTube. You had the choice of anything to find a film, and you chose that. I'm like, yeah, all right.
I don't blame you because I mean, looking at it, I mean, I must admit, if I'd have just gone on the title and the poster that they had for it, I would have thought, oh, that could be good for a laugh.
Yeah, so this is the thing. I've watched like I said, like Dead Snow. I've watched like
Yeah,
stupidly like Frankenstein created bikers or stuff like that. They're they're awful, but they're good at the point. And
yeah.
then this was just awful.
It was just awful. I mean, I've watched a fair amount of horror films based on around sort of like Nazi Germany, that sort of thing, including things like Surf Nazis Must Die and all that kind of thing. But this has got to be one of the worst, and the main reason it doesn't have a proper story. It doesn't have anything in it at all that makes it a horror film, and it doesn't
I
have
don't know.
anything going
I
for
think the thing for me that makes it a horror film is the acting. It
it.
was
I just, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I look at this and I think this was possibly made on a very small, very tight budget,
yeah.
and I salute the fact that they managed to make a feature film. I haven't been able to do that, and I'd love to, but I think I don't know. I just think that the synopsis and the poster for it and that kind of thing just kind of oversold it a bit. I was expecting a lot more from it than it ever gave.
Yeah, and the thing is that I gave it the benefit of that as well because saying I found this on Netflix before. I didn't even realize it was on YouTube, really.
Yeah.
I found it on Netflix and stupidly thought that okay, it's on Netflix. It must be okay.
Yeah, no, I can
But
see that. I can, yeah.
I have also realised that Netflix seems to have at the moment been putting on a lot, and I mean a lot, of B movies onto their stuff. Now, whether or not this is one that slipped through the cracks and they went before they went, this is just atrocious, we can't put it on. But
What I would say is one thing I would say that this film does is it proves that it's not just films from the 1980s that are really quite bad.
no, all right, I'll give you that. Compared to some of the films that we've watched, this fits directly into
See,
the
the thing about it is though, I still don't think it's worse than Starship Invasion, and I
no,
don't know,
it's a
don't
very
know
close
why.
second, but yeah, it's a very close second, but I do agree with you. I don't think it's that bad.
I think given a choice between watching this or Humanoid from the Deep or Starship Invasions, I might watch this, but I might watch Humanoid from the Deep.
Yeah, I've got to admit, I think out of a choice of this, actually, no, I think honestly, I would probably watch Humanoid to the Deep.
Yeah,
And as to anyone that's listening to this doesn't know, I couldn't stand that film.
I know. Oh well, I don't know.
Just
I mean, good luck to them. They managed to make a film and they managed to sell it to Netflix. Hey, a lot of people have done that. We haven't.
it just makes it just does make me wonder. Like, Netflix can't be that desperate for films.
I think
Do you think they've done the same thing? That they looked at it and went, you know what, the synopsis and the poster look amazing.
I don't
We'll
know.
buy it, and then
I think
realise, and they sat there and went, fuck, we've now got to do something with this film.
I think what they do is they have a tendency to buy. They buy films. They buy like a
Buy
four,
them in
five.
bulk.
Yeah, they buy sort of 5 or 6 films at a time and just kind of go, we'll put that on. They just want as much streaming material as possible.
Do you know
Um,
what? I will say for any of our American audiences that are watching, that are listening to this, I want a very sort of quick description of how to do this film without actually watching it. Because obviously we sit there and we rate them like this is basically a film that you'd find at the very bottom of a bargain bin, covered in dust and a lot of cobwebs.
it, well, yeah. I mean, it's yeah. I don't know. It's a difficult film to
Yeah,
kind of.
see, the thing is for me, it doesn't like for anyone that's outside of outside of America, and even with a lot of Americans, it doesn't paint the US in a very good light with the way, like it. Obviously, I get the fact it's an American film; they want to be the heroes, but it doesn't paint Americans in a good light. They're all stereotypical, sort of what people will think of when people go, "Oh, there's an American." Oh, yeah, I'm from America. They all think of, "Oh, yeah, it's this type of person."
Yeah,
That's exactly what it was. It was a stereotypical film.
but I think the problem with it is it's been made for the lowest common denominator for, and it's a cheaply made, low budget B movie, and I mean, as I say, I applaud them for the fact that they've managed to make a feature film and they've got it on
Yeah.
Netflix and they've got it out there. I would love to do the same, but it wouldn't be a film like this. That's
No,
all I say.
well, it wouldn't be a film about werewolves for a start. 'Cause we know you don't like them that much. But
No, well,
knowing you, it'd probably be a film about cats,
yeah, no, wear cats,
badgers,
uh,
were badgers.
wear badgers. Yeah. No, I mean the problem for me, the problem with werewolf films is the fact that after seeing things like American Werewolves in London and Dog Soldiers and a few others that have got good effects, even though I didn't like the stories. The problem is to make a decent werewolf film, you really need to have the effects to do it. You need to
Yeah,
make the transformation scene work really well. And if you
yeah.
can't do that, I don't think there's a point in doing them.
No, see, I think out of every film that I've seen to do with werewolves, I think Dog Soldiers and to a certain extent the transformation in Underworld.
Yeah,
I think, but more the sort of prequel one to it, so the Rise of the Lycan one. I think it was the best transformation films I've transformations for Wells I've seen in any film.
Yeah.
I said the worst one, yeah, has got to be this, and maybe I don't know, maybe Twilight, but
Well, I can honestly say I've never seen any of the Twilight films. Um, but I mean, I think one of my big problems with this though is the fact that they're not werewolves. It's simple as
no, they're not. They're some sort of weird. So, like I said, Chimera, it's suppose
well,
yeah, it can be a thing that's sort of forced upon.
yeah,
And
they
it's
call
two
it they call it Chimera in one part. In another part, they call it
a hybrid,
hybrid soldier or whatever it is.
yeah, and
And it's you know yeah.
it's saying even there, it's so confusing of a film. Even they don't
But yeah, I don't know. They're yeah.
know.
We live and
So,
learn.
for anyone who's listening, watching, and you want to go and watch this film, please, I don't want to say please do because I feel sorry for you if you do, but go and watch it. Let us know your opinion. I'm saying I'm full heartedly taking responsibility for the fact this film is getting publicised. I'm
Yeah,
sorry
I
for the
mean,
fact, but I say go watch it, go see what you think of it. Please tell us that you agree.
some people might like it. Some people it might
Yeah,
make the sort of films that they like. I don't know. It
no, it's
didn't do
just
it for me, I must admit.
no, it didn't do it for me either.
Okay. So we have Hawk, which was not a bad film, but really could have done with something more to it
Yeah,
to explain a bit more what was going on. We had Selfie, which wasn't a bad film, but
it's
it's
been
been done
overdone so
before and
many
it's all
times.
been
Yeah,
said. And we have Werewolves of the Third Reich, which is nothing to do with werewolves. Very little to do with the Third Reich, to be honest with you,
yeah,
and is not really a horror film, and was marginally better than the worst film that we've reviewed.
yeah. It's a very close second, and I mean very, very close.
So there you go. Check them out and all that kind of thing.
But don't won't hold it against you if you don't.
Okay, we'll be back next week with more of the same and things like that. And then in where are we? I don't even know what's going on. What's going on?
We're now on week 4, I think. No,
Let me
5.
let me consult my oracle. Um, no, this is what you're talking about. This is only week two,
What?
three, three. This is week three.
Week 3. Okay. Sorry, I was ahead of myself. I'm sorry.
Yes. So next week we will be. There will be an episode put out, but we will be at the
Oh
uh,
yes.
Romford Horror Film Festival.
Yes.
And so the review of the Romford Horror Film Festival will be out the week after that. And stuff. And we will see what happens there and then and then and then.
Yes.
We've got an interesting dilemma though at one point. At one point, they're going to split the screening between two screens. So we're going to need to decide who goes to which one.
But it's going to split the screen halfway for a film.
No. we
We both would have to watch the same film, but only half of it.
Well, we watch two films. If you're sitting on the right hand side of the cinema, you get to watch one film on the right hand side of the screen. If you're sitting on the left hand side, you get to watch a different film on the left hand side of the screen, and both soundtracks will be played at the same time. It's called Chaos Cinema.
Do you know what though? I would pay money to do that just for an experience. Oh dear. Okay. So yeah, it could be interesting. I will say for anyone as well. I know Dad doesn't like plugging this, but if you want to watch his film that him and John done, The Hand That Feeds You, it is being shown at the Horror Film Festival, which I found out from John
Yeah,
recently, which I didn't actually realise, but it's going to be premiered on the Friday, I think it is.
think so. Yeah,
Yeah, and it's going to be like one of the main ones on Friday. So if you want to watch it on a big screen, come along, get some tickets, even if it's just for that night. Come along and have a watch. Possibly you might be able to meet Dad gets this autograph before he goes big time, and it all goes to his head.
Please. But if on the other hand you can't make it to there and you do want to watch the film, it is available still on the Deformed Lunchbox YouTube channel. So check that out. As I say, next week there will be another episode of the show as normal, and then the week after that will be a report back from the Romford Horror Film Festival. Okay, thank you very much for joining me, Scott.
Okay. Glad that I could be here. As you said, I am now part of the furniture.
It's,
Occasionally a table.
thank you for joining me. I didn't know you was coming apart. I don't know what I'm doing. Yes, so anybody who's interested, look out for other things on the Thrave Productions channel. There will be some music interviews coming up. I'm going to be doing some more of the talking music interviews with some different people over the year. I'm not going to be doing them every week, but I will be doing them on occasions dotted throughout the year. And there will be a few other things coming up, some of them to do with horror, some of them to do with sci-fi, some of them to do with music, some of them to do with none of those. Maybe comedy, maybe just me ranting inanely into the screen.
There is also something that I want to put forward and all that. This year, I am going to start my own little thing, actually. With mainly, I might ask Dad to join in every now and again. But over late, if people have listened to this over the last couple of years, you realise that I've talked a lot about mental health and have done, and it's something that I want to do. I want to get it out there, especially for blokes. It's a very hard subject for a lot of blokes to appreciate and talk about. So I'm going to start up my own thing. Me probably just talking absolute nonsense into my camera about my day and how it affects me. I might have someone randomly join me and talk and let me know how their day goes. But it's just going to be me talking about how I cope with things, how I deal with daily activities and day-to-day life. So it's going to be put up either on the Throw production site or my own one that will be linked into it, but it will be out available sometime this year.
Cool. Sounds good. Sounds good. Right. So, good people out there in Voodoo Land,
Voodoo Land.
Destination Zulu Land. I don't know. Or
That'd be a good name for a band.
yeah, no, it was a song by King Kurt. Destination Zulu Land.
Oh.
Good. You should look it up and listen to it. It's very good. Very good. What else was I going to say? I was going to say something else, and I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, I think I remember what it was now. It was Wibble.
Ah.
So we will see you again soonish. Until we do, we don't. Bye.
Bye.
The Sciforror Film Podcast.